So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, and it is the Demetra K podcast. And of course, we will put this on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube, and it is not live, it is pre recorded. But oftentimes, Donovan and I do pop into the comment section while it's playing to see, what the conversation is about. So, I just want y'all to know that up front. Today, we are going to be talking about that of Andrew Tate. I wasn't really familiar with him as much. I've heard about him, but I got really familiar with him within the last couple of days when he got shut down, for lack of better words. So I'm going to tell y'all all about him as far as what I know. And then we're going to get into basically, is it fair that he has been censored and shut down? And so, Donovan, what say you before we get started?
All right, you guys, welcome to the Demetra K podcast. We are happy that you guys are tuning in and listening. Please do us a favor. If you are listening to this, even on the YouTube, whatever, share it on your platform and get the message out. And please like, share, and subscribe. And even become a member. We'd love to have you here. We're also on Venmo. We got a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all the other good things like that. And you can also pick us up on iPod. All the I'm losing my thought here, but all the podcast streaming services. So do us a favor and do that. But this is going to be interesting because I had heard about this young, I don't know if he's young, but this gentleman, and this is an issue. Some people are saying it's a freedom of speech issue, but we're going to get into that because there's a big significant difference when you're dealing with freedom of speech.
All right, and so for time's sake, we'll go ahead and get into it. So Andrew Tate is 35 years old. He is a success coach. He had, I don't know if he still does, it sounds like recently it was shut down or he shut it down, Hustlers University, where there's a monthly fee, I believe, of like $40, where he talks about things like drop shipping and crypto. He also was a former kickboxer, was also on the show Big Brother. But he had got kicked off of that for, it says, attacking women, a woman with a belt. And we'll get a little bit more into that. And so what else is going on with him? So he's a millionaire from what I understand. And he was recently banned or taken off of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and now as of today, YouTube. Now, I believe it was in like 2017. He was kicked off of Twitter for, hate speech and things like that. Now, they kicked him off for violating the hate speech policy and also for being misogynistic, which means that he was being hateful toward women. Now, I would love to show you some of his clips, but I don't want to jeopardize getting taken down. So there's a lot of stuff, from what I understand, still on YouTube. You can go Google it, or not Google it, go look at it, so you can get an idea. I will say that I did spend some time listening to some of his talking points, and I feel like I probably need to go like live in a library for like a week or so to kind of get some of my brain cells back. But needless to say, again, so he was shut down on all of those platforms, basically for violating the policies. Now, he has been accused of saying some pretty crazy things, and I'm going to put this up so y'all can get an idea of who I am speaking of. So that is Mr. Andrew Tate. Now, they say that he is African American. That's what Google said anyway. So I have to take their word from it for it. He was born in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, but it sounds like he moved out to the UK or after that. And so I guess that's kind of why he has a little bit of an accent, if you will. But so these are some of the things that he has been up to within the last couple of years. Some of the things that he said was, as you can see here, he is also said to have posted a now deleted comment. If I wanted to see Black people running, I just threatened them with jobs. So that's kind of why I was kind of questioning, well, is he Black? But, I guess Black people say stuff like that too. He also said in one video, Tate advised men accused of cheating by their girlfriends to bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her by the neck and shut up, B. Okay. So I guess that's kind of one of the things that got the ball rolling. It also says together with his brother Tristan, he allegedly set up a webcam business in Romania in which young models told sob stories to unsuspecting male viewers, despite telling the Sunday Mirror that the site was a total scam. Tate claims to have made millions from it. All right. And then here it says the 35-year-old was booted off the show. This is, of course, Big Brother. After a video emerged of Tate beating his ex-girlfriend with a belt, which he claimed is the reason why he was removed from the Channel 5 reality show the day before. The clip shows the star continually hitting the woman with his belt. He also slaps her across the face, but the star insisted it was playful fun, quote unquote, and said at the time a longer version of the video shows us laughing and I'm hitting myself saying, does it hurt? I'm still friends with her and she's in the UK with me now. I would never hit a woman. So, he's basically saying that's not true. So after all of this backlash that he suffered came to fruition, he put out a statement that pretty much said this, and it's not up there, but I'll read it to you. It says, where'd it go? It's very unfortunate that old videos of me where I was playing a comedic character have been taken out of context and amplified to the point where people believe absolutely false narratives about me. In the last 2 weeks, I dedicated over $1 million to charity supporting women. I posted this on Instagram, but Instagram ignored it. Internet sensationalism has purported the idea that I am anti-woman or women when nothing could be farther from the truth. This is simply hate mobs who are uninterested in the facts of the matter, trying to personally attack me. They twist facts and produce fancy documents full of hate, truths, and lies to attack people they don't like. I will always have millions of fans around the world, and my platform will be a beacon of light, teaching people of all genders and races how to respect one another for years to come. Now these fans can learn important lessons of love, or they cannot learn important lessons of love. Why? With my Instagram page, I began to prove all of the negative narratives false and show the world tolerance. My fans would follow in my footsteps of tolerance and love, and the world would become a better place. I was receiving over 10,000 death threats a day on the platform. Instagram ignored it. Somehow on I Am the Villain, when all of my posts were Bible verses and charitable donations, banning me only inspires more internet hate mobs and more division. This will become a weapon of attack for different points of views for the foreseeable future. So he's basically saying it's a hatchet job, if you will. It's not all true. It's been blown out of proportion. At the end, I do agree with what he said. That is only going to spur or inspire more people to come out and kind of do the same. Again, I've not been familiar with Andrew Tate really up until I really did some research into him, for the most part. So I have a lot to say about this. But Donovan, what say you from what I just said?
You said a lot. And like I said, there's always that old saying of, did you see the whole tape? You know, young people, you really got to be careful. Even though you might be doing a skit, people can take that skit and edit parts of it. And the next thing you know, you're running for president, city council, or whatever you're doing, or you're applying for a job. And that's what the employer sees, or the potential employer sees. Next thing you know, you're getting terminated, even though it was taken out of context. So you guys are smart enough to know how the internet works and how video works. But, when we're talking about the internet and these rules, Brother Phil says it all the time. When you're on another person's platforms, you are subjected to those rules because that is a private business. It's private. So YouTube, Facebook, and it's just so funny how some people think because YouTube's been around a long time, Twitter's been around a long time, that, oh, well, that's public. Everybody's on it. Everybody's on Facebook. No, it is a private business. And when you sign up, you give up certain rights to do certain things like this. But like, I have a issue with this. Okay, they banned him for violent images, let's just say, like the video, right? But yet Twitter doesn't have a problem with women basically putting porn up on Twitter. I just say that is hypocritical at best. So porn is okay to put up there, but movies like gangster movies, the old movies of violence, that's not okay to put up there. So I think it's hypocritical at best. But again, it is their platform, and I'm very sure if you read some of the small fine print, they can terminate your account at any given time. Which is why Brother Phil and a lot of people have been saying it's so important that we have our own platforms where we can subjugate the rules to the way we like them. But at any time, it can be terminated. But I have a question with Mr. Tate. If you make millions of dollars, and I'm sure he does, why would he even care at this point? Why doesn't he make his own platform to go, put his own stuff on? Because he has the money. Why are you donating $1 million, which is a great thing to do? Philanthropy is a great thing to do because it's needed. But I think he would be better served doing a Black platform that could put out the genre you want to put out. So, I mean, problematic at best, but there's a lot of platforms out there like your Cynthia G's. She hasn't been banned, and she pretty much does the same thing that he was doing. I mean, we can go through all these platforms that do things that bash men. It's just crazy to me that it is perfectly fine to bash men and put men into a negative light. But when you do equality, pretty much the same thing toward women, you're done. You're finished. So I think it's hypocritical at best.
So, yeah, I mean, you raise a good point. I also want to go back to what you said. Yes, so a lot of people are hollering about freedom of speech, this, that, and the other. You're absolutely correct. That applies to the government, the Constitution. As you said, those entities, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, those are all private corporations, and they can do what they want. And they have outlined where he has violated the policies, hate speech, and being misogynistic. Now, it also sounds like there was a couple of people, petitions and stuff, maybe targeting him and wanting him to be removed because they feel like basically he is a danger to the minds of, certain people, I guess some of his followers and things like that. I will say this. I personally am not in love with censoring people, because I really feel like if we're going on the premise that he is a danger to people, well, I mean, it's like, can you be responsible for everybody that follows you? Should you not be responsible for yourself and the things that you inculcate, and use some logic and reasoning and say, okay, well, that sounds good, but yeah, I don't know too much about that. And so I honestly feel like this is bigger than we believe. Now, I'm going to take y'all back a little bit. Y'all may or may not remember back in the day when the 2 Live Crew and, other rappers were getting out there mainstream with their messages and stuff. Well, there was a woman by the name of Tipper Gore who was married to Al Gore. She is passed on now, from what I understand. She actually is the reason for the parental advisory sticker on the albums. And so one would say, well, y'all wasn't really having an issue a couple years ago with these rappers saying these, things that are nasty or whatever. But then if you look deeply into it, it's because it was starting to permeate their children, go into their neighborhoods. And so you think about somebody like a Kevin Samuels, and listen, I personally don't think Kevin Samuels is like, or it was like a Andrew Tate. I think Andrew Tate is actually like, whoa, he just think he took the ball and completely ran left field with it. But we have somebody like a Kevin Samuels who was saying the things he was doing. People really didn't. I mean, there's people who were mad about it, but where was this big attention like from YouTube and things like that? Well, if you ask me, I know that Kevin had a lot of other followers, but I think he predominantly fed into the world of Black people. And so anytime that Black people are being inundated with messages that may not be good for them, it's like, it's okay as long as it stays over there. But when people like, your Andrew Tate start to permeate into other people's psyches in their neighborhood, then it's like, wait a minute, we have to shut them down. Case in point, too, is, you have these rappers. Let's use people like your Megan Thee Stallions, your Cardi B's, and your Nicki Minaj's, the usual suspects. They say the most disgusting things. Like, I'm not a prude, but some of the stuff I hear, I'm like, you gonna do what with it? And so they're continuing to make records. But as soon as that, because there's some white girls and stuff that listen to, and other women that listen to that, but it predominantly affects us, and it's predominantly targeted to us. So the minute their music really becomes a problem for them, then they'll start to, do what they're doing to an Andrew Tate and things like that. But also, you got to remember these abortion laws that they passed, that wasn't for us. That was to preserve white life. And so with an Andrew Tate or anybody else that's speaking like that, they are actually causing a gender divide. Well, white folks, we do too, but I'm just saying about them. They need their people to come together so they can continue to procreate. And so if they're not able to do that, because you have people like him putting these messages out and teaching the men, oh yeah, women ain't nothing, because it's okay to teach our women, our Black women, those type of things. But when they teach that to their people, they're like, no, we got to pump the brakes on this because we got a lot going on. The last thing we need is supposed to be Black is a Negro coming into the minds and the psyches and the emotions of our people.
Yep. The funny thing is you took it back to the Two Live Crew. I remember at one time, the artist known as Prince, he was like the Antichrist when it came to music, because if you really understood his lyrics or you read his lyrics, they were very, very seductive and sexual in nature. And I remember my mom had an album. Well, she didn't have an album, but I was looking at an album, and my mom was, she didn't mind Prince's music, that was mainstream, that was played on the radio. But when you got into the album, those other songs, Dirty Mind and all that other stuff, my mom was like, ain't gonna happen. So, and it's just funny how later on in life, he became really a mainstream artist, writing for other artists and doing that as time in music has changed. NWA, another group, that what really scared the crap out of suburban white America, when NWA sold millions of albums with no advertisement. They weren't on MTV. They're, they were very limited when they did get on there, but when they became super popular, and the white kids were popping it out and going to the concerts and all that other. And now you have a guy known as Eminem, that is, taking it to the stratosphere. But in regards to the, them basically censoring, this is just the start. It's just going to be the start of what they're going to do. I mean, you brought up a good point. What are they going to do? Put a parental advisory on every video that's made on YouTube. So, depending on what you say, well, we'll put a parental advisory. That way you know what to do and stuff like that. So it's just a start. I look at what's going on in America, and you see how things have just been torn apart. White people are 50% divided in this country, which is why nothing gets done except white supremacy. You're always going to keep that done, but nothing as far as the country itself is getting done. And Black people are the deciding factor within the next 8 years. Then we won't be a deciding factor. It'll be other groups that will do that. And you just look at, it's like, are we regressing or are we progressing? Because it just seems that all of this rhetoric that we learned, Demetra, when we were in school, coming up in school, oh, freedom of speech, democracy, America, do what you want to do. It just seems more and more like we are turning into like a North Korea type country, to where people want to repress rights, take away benefits, and just, keep a lower class of people in a certain state. And if we don't do something about it fairly soon, we're going to have a Russian Revolution, or a French Revolution. And a French Revolution went on for 6 years before Napoleon really locked it down. And all kinds of people in turmoil was happening, were killed and all kinds of stuff. So if we don't start getting this stuff right, because thanks to Donald Trump, we are now seeing a 2-tier justice system. I mean, Black people, we always known there was a 2-tier justice system, but now we are actually seeing it. If they do not prosecute this man for the secrets, it's just, it's a scary situation that we're in. And as far as the men versus the women, I think that is something that, it's unfortunate. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but we have a lot of weak-minded women that have bought into a problem that had nothing to do with them to begin with. The liberation from the man movement, that was a white woman's movement to liberate herself from the white man, to be equal to her husband and all that other stuff. She never talked about leaving her husband. But Black women don't need no man. I don't hear any other group saying that. And you got these platforms out there where this stuff is being said, but nobody's censoring them. Nobody's saying that they're wrong. Nobody's doing anything to lock them down, because do you want to know what the answer to that is by Black men, Demetra? The answer to Black men, when we hear these Black women talking about they're divesting and they're doing this and they're doing that, we just get our passports and we just go and find us somebody that's going to, treat us right. That's all.
Yeah, you said a lot there, but that's why I took notes. So, for one, you asked a question about regret. Are we regressing or progressing?
Mm.
And I thought, well, are we correcting? Are we
Mm.
getting back to
Good
where
point.
things are supposed to be? I don't know if that's the word to use, but
Mm.
where there's people have some damn sense again. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, everything is just kind of out of control, off the chain. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe things are correcting. Maybe the universe is like, okay, I can't take this mess no more. You know what I mean?
Let me go in the bushes and weep.
Yeah, I need to make some sense of things. So it could be a period of correction. The other thing too is when you get on these people's platforms, you got to play by the rules. A wise man once told me you can't break the rules if you don't know them. So if you on these people's platforms spewing hate, talking crazy, being violent, yeah, eventually you will get shut down. Get your own stuff and you can talk like that. It'd be harder for people to mobilize against you and shut you down, but know the rules. And that's why I try to tell people, because listen, I have a lot of people trying to come to me. They want me to say this, they want me to do this, they want me to do that. And I'm like, what y'all fail to understand is I know the rules. I don't know all of them, but I know the basics. And there's certain things you just cannot do on here and continue to stay on here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that comes from that holier than thou complex. Listen, I'm a confident person, but some of these people, I think, like the Andrew Tate, got high on his own supply, did not realize that everybody got to answer to somebody, especially if you ain't using your own platform. So if you want to continue to reach millions, which he has millions and millions of followers everywhere combined on all of his platforms, if you want to continue to reach millions of people, then act accordingly so that they don't shut you down. I don't see why that's a hard concept, but when you get high on your own supply, eventually you're gonna have to come down to reality. And reality is, with that stuff you was on wasn't, all of that, because you still have to answer to somebody else at the end of the day. The other thing is, you wanted to bring it on down to women. You said women are weak-minded. And
Not
women
all,
are
not all. Some women are
not,
weak-minded.
you said you said black women, but
Some women are weak-minded. Yep.
you said a black weak-minded. We went along with the liberation movement of white women and this, that, and the other. And we talk about we don't need no man, all that. Well, I want you men, because black women, not all black women, but there's some black women that say that. But it's funny how y'all only hear those women, but y'all don't hear the women that say, I need a man. I want a man. I don't want to do this by myself. I don't like coming home and getting in an empty bed. I want to be booed up on the couch with somebody watching TV and we laughing and walking in the park. Y'all don't never talk about those women. Y'all
because those women are all right. Those women are all right.
But then why didn't y'all got one then? Why aren't y'all with those women? Why aren't y'all with those women who talk like that? I want to be with a good man, this, that, and the other. And the other thing, what I want to ask you is, since you kind of subscribe to the manosphere thing,
I do.
Why don't you teach your brothers to be a man a black woman needs?
I do. I'm
just saying.
I'm in the community.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general. I'm saying in general, you manosphere individuals, instead of saying, oh, these black women don't need me. Again, talk about the black women who say they do need a man and that are willing to, meet a man halfway and not be, and cooperate. Talk about those women more. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, like I listened to some of Andrew Tate's stuff and I'm like, wow, does he really believe this stuff that he says as far as it's okay for a man to cheat, but it's not okay for a woman to cheat?
Oh, no, that's bullshit.
Understand that, if she's got same stuff Kevin would say, that high value man, she's going to have to put up with him cheating. But my thing is, it be dudes working at Taco Bell think they should have a whole harem of women and she should put up with that. So why don't y'all,
right?
And all y'all, but be a good, be that dude, be that dude. And again, I'm gonna say this: stop demonizing women or men, because there's some women out there with that. Well, I ain't gonna just be with one man. Stop demonizing people who don't want to share, because nobody want monkeypox on their monkey. I'm just saying.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, and it's becoming self-evident. We need each other. Black men and black women, we got less than 8 years. God forbid, if I'm here to see, God willing, if I'm here to see within the next 8 years how politically irrelevant and no say-so will we have, what will happen to us. And if that does come about, I do not want to be out here by myself and going through the struggle that Black people will be going through. We don't even have to wait 8 years. Let's look at it right now. The fastest growing homeless population group of people are Black women. Statistically correct. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of you guys that should have paid your rent when the government gave you the money to pay the rent, you didn't do it. You went on trips, you did this, whatever. And we're not talking about all of the women, but we're saying that's the group that is doing that. So, you know, a third of our wealth was taken under the Obama administration. We went through this COVID thing where Black people have lost their jobs. I mean, we're the last ones hired and we're the first ones fired. Let's be real about this, people. We do not have time to be dealing with this BS of, I don't need no man, I don't need no woman, she ain't doing this, we ain't got time for that. What we got to do is unite and come together, like you said, get a course correction so that we can survive. We're going to survive regardless. But the question is, how are we going to survive? Are we going to be in the same position, if not worse, in society around the world? Because we're not talking about just the United States. We're talking about a global economy that's affecting everybody. I was watching YouTube, scanning YouTube, and I'm looking at the Congo. I'm looking at Kenya. I'm looking at Nigeria. The abject poverty, even when we were in South Africa, the abject poverty that are in these countries that are affecting the very people that look like us. And when we were in South Africa, where were the white people? Behind their gilded fences in their nice gated communities and so on, and so forth. But yet you see in all of these African countries, Caribbean countries, I was looking at Haiti, I was looking at the Jamaica. These people are living in basic cardboard boxes. And then you equate what we saw in Soweto with what you're seeing here in the United States as far as homeless people. Mostly 50% of homeless are Black. It's the same thing. It's just a Soweto that's here. So we got to stop all of this. You know, I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. She ain't bowing down. She ain't doing. That's bullshit, fellas. And let me tell you something. I don't care how cute you think you are with your at 6'4", 320 pounds with the nice little curly Rick James braids in your hair. I don't know who told you that. But one day you're going to get old and you're going to get older. And at a certain age, you should have certain things. It is so sad that we are manifesting as a society that are renters. You will never have a home. You will never do things because you know what? Politically, we have no voice. And it's so sad.
Yeah. So, you know, like you said, I mean, we need each other. But, you know, again, I don't, being in media, I don't agree with censorship. But I do agree that you should be shut down if you are violent. Now, he says he wasn't. So I don't know. I don't have any inside knowledge as to whether Andrew Tate is a violent dude. I've listened to some of the things he said, and it does kind of make you raise an eyebrow. But it's like, should he be censored? Are there other people that should be censored? And you brought up people like your Cynthia G's. And you guys, y'all never hear me talk about really any of those people because I don't listen to those people. I'm just not. I'm not going to dump that kind of stuff in my mind at all. So I don't listen to them. So because I get a lot, you know, sometimes people say, well, why don't you ever talk about Cynthia G and all them? Why am I talking about somebody I don't listen to? Right. Obviously, I don't like what they're saying or what they're about. If I did, I would listen to them. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to talk about people that I don't listen to at all. I did stumble upon Cynthia. I think it's Cynthia G. She's the one with the bang like that. Yeah, I stumbled upon her stuff once, and I was like, "Oh no," you know, because the people in the comment, and then there's a Tanya TKO.
Yeah,
you know, she seems like she's a little bit on the bitter side, and so I don't listen to people like that. You know, I mean, I just don't. I don't make it a habit to do that. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I don't listen to guys like what's that guy? Fly out to Thailand, whatever, Zoom to Thailand and stuff like that. I don't listen to that stuff. Yeah,
it's the ignorance. It's all. I try to disassociate with ignorance, but when I would say this. When you have people like your Andrew Tate, and let's throw Kevin Samuels up in there, I know he's, you know, it's a sore point for a lot of people. I mean, sometimes it does come off as divisive, you know, to hear people talking about I'm zooming to Thailand, get away from the Black woman, Black man, save yourself, Black man, or whatever it is. That's to me is irking. Because it's like if you want another woman, just go be with another woman. Because if I was an Asian woman or white woman or Mexican woman, I wouldn't want to be with no dude who did only want to be with me. because he can't get along with his woman. I would want him to be with me because he loves me and all of that. And most of the time, when I see brothers or anybody else talking about being with Asian women, y'all want to be with them because they're submissive or they don't talk back or none of that stuff. And it's like, do y'all really want to be with a woman who will put up with all your bullshit?
Well, funny thing, I don't mean to interrupt, but the funny thing, whenever I hear that, and I dated some Asian women when I was younger and stuff, I've never met an Asian woman that was quiet and submissive. They have an agenda.
But why don't y'all talk about that as much as y'all talk about black men having so much to say and she just that and the other? Because I also know brothers who date Asians and they say, the stereotype about them being little geisha girls and all that. They say, no.
Not the modern. We're in the modern world. They don't. I mean, they still have traditional, things of their culture, but no. And I've only dated maybe 2 or 3 Asian women in my life, but the point is that when I dated them, they were just as modern as a black woman or a white woman or a Hispanic woman.
With that, why don't they get the same reputation that we get?
Right, exactly.
I mean, I'm just because no shade, y'all know I love black men. I ride with black men until I die. I do. I love black men, everything about them.
DeBarge is not black, but go ahead.
He blacker than a lot of these other Negroes running around here. Okay?
Yeah, El DeBarge. When you're a DeBarge, you're in a different category.
Right, you're luxury.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nobody to say, oh, because he light skinned, ain't got nothing to do with El DeBarge being light skinned. I just always love El DeBarge, even since I was 12.
And his voice.
Yeah, since I was 12. Anyway, I digress. I mean, why don't y'all run those women through the dirt like y'all do black women?
Right. If somebody asks me, because I'll travel and I tell people, who you dealing with? Where are those women? Because I've been to the Philippines, I've been to Thailand, I've been to these places, and these women people are the same everywhere. They really are. They want things, they want to do things. They're the same.
Right. And so again, I think that's something that needs to be examined. Why the black woman gets all this, vitriol?
Because y'all earn it.
Now, but the other women earn it too. But but I think it has a lot to do with somebody gonna get mad. I don't mean to make you mad, but deal with it. Mm-hmm. It has a lot to do with being slave-minded, to where you would run your own woman down, but the other woman doing the same thing, but she get a pass. Why? Because you see her as better than your woman, and if you see somebody else's woman better than your woman, you also see her better than you. Yeah. You think that she is better than you, to where she gets a pass. What? Because she's exotic. She's white, or she's lighter, or whatever the case is. So she gets a pass for doing the same exact thing that black women do. But y'all don't have nothing to say about that. Y'all got to, go get you another woman. Go Zoom to Thailand. Go do this, and the other. But it's like, you got good black women right here in the States. But that's why I said, if you want another woman, just say that. Right. Don't run down on all black women. Just say, I want something new.
But I mean, okay, and I agree with you on that. But you will agree. We can agree that the stereotype, and I'm saying stereotype to be nice, the stereotype of black women being aggressive is not very feminine. Do you see what I'm saying?
I get it. Yes. I would concede that point. It is not feminine for a black woman, to be
like Kevin Samuels said, put your dick up,
Well, but see, that's the other thing, though. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing that I have a problem with you, Kevin Samuelites, because I have listened to quite a bit of Kevin's stuff. Y'all quick to remember the stuff he said about women, but he has also said stuff like, maybe, and I'm paraphrasing in my own way, that she could put her dick up if y'all would step up. He said right. Like that. So the point that I'm making is, y'all quick to say that, black women are too aggressive. Mm-hmm. Do y'all know that? And listen, there's a lot of, as y'all say, hyenas out there. They are. I'm not saying that they don't exist. So please, I want y'all to be logical about what I'm about to say. But have y'all ever asked, how did she get that way? Do y'all know?
Yeah.
No, but I don't really think that y'all do, because Donovan, me and you did the math one day when we wasn't on here. Yeah. Because, I know y'all are told, go get you a younger woman. Y'all can mold and shape a younger woman. Hell, half of y'all can't even wipe the piss off the damn toilet, let alone mold a woman. Half of y'all ain't seen y'all kids in 2 weeks, but you're trying to be molding and shaping a woman. But yet, so here we go. We did the math. Y'all get y'all younger woman because she don't got all these issues. But yeah, here you are. I'm just saying to you in general.
Yeah,
You're a 50-year-old man. You won't date a 50-year-old woman because she got issues. She gonna do this and she gonna do that. But you never ask yourself, well, how did that woman get that way?
Oh, I know. Trust me. I know that the trials and tribulations Black women go through. I know.
But the other thing y'all don't talk about too is a lot of times when these women are younger, they maybe get with an older man who do them all kind of dirty, use their bodies. And so then they might, evolve. They get educated and they go through a little bit more heartbreak with dudes. And then they get to the point where they 50, where they're not your age. And they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I've been there and I've done that. And they've got this wall up because of the stuff that they've gone through. Listen, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I think we need to do a little bit more examination opposed to saying, well, just Black women are just mean and aggressive and manly. Like, why is she that way?
Well, again, I think after 40 years of programming from the women's movement, they had it messed up. And it's going to take the same 40 years it took us to get here is going to take some time to get us out of here. Because again, you've got women out there that you could tell them, hey, this is what I want in a mate, or hey, this is what I want in a partner. And they get offended. Or they get mad, or you know what I'm saying? No. Whereas a guy would say, okay, here's a better example. Now, you know me, Demetra, I do not like weave. If your man tells you he does not like weave, why would you continually still do it?
I mean, did you get with that woman when she was wearing a weave?
No.
And I've asked you this before. I mean, I got braids, whatever the case is.
That's Afrocentric, though.
Yeah, but I'm wearing it because I'm in Houston and I can't wear my afro because it will break my hair off because of the humidity. So I would love to wear my natural hair, if you will. But sometimes when I hear you men talk about, the woman's hair, and I get some of the hairstyles is ridiculous. I'll go ahead and concede that. But y'all might be potentially throwing away a whole good ass woman over a hairstyle. So it's like, sometimes you got to pick your struggle.
But is a hairstyle worth losing a good man that might be able to take care of you and all that other stuff?
See, that's
the other thing, because again, you have to agree. We're different. Men and women, we are not equal. We are not. I was interviewing candidate Daryl Terrell, right? And he's going for the college school board. And I threw him a total curve. And I said, is it fair that a transgender man compete in women's sports? He's like, well, we got to be fair. How can you be fair when this man is biologically a man and he will just shatter all of these women's records and they have no chance? We're not equal.
And I don't know how that correlates with a woman wearing a wig or a weave.
No. What I'm saying is men and women are different. So men look at stuff different than what a woman would do it. Okay. Or see it. So what I'm saying is this, if, like, you guys could say and we're talking about a specific type of real man. We're not talking about these emos out in the streets that don't know what it is to be a real man. Okay. We're talking about, legitimate men that handle their business. Kevin Samuels is right. Like when I deal with the woman, I don't care what you got. I don't care what kind of degree you got. I don't care how much money you got. I'm still a man. You're a woman. That's what it comes down to. We don't care.
I get all that, but you being a man ain't gonna make me not want to wear no wig. Like, how do you?
No, but if I ask you not to do that,
yeah, but you can't. I'm not your child though, and I think that's a lot of times y'all men get kind of twisted up. Is y'all? I get it. If y'all don't like it, don't date a woman who wears a wig. But to demonize that woman for wearing a wig and a weave, that's all about control. You need to do what I say. You don't know why that woman is wearing a wig. Maybe it makes her feel better. Maybe it is a protective style or whatever the case is. But to demonize a woman because she wearing a wig and you need to do what I say because I'm a man. Wait, let me finish. If a wig denotes whether you a real man or not, then y'all got bigger problems.
I guess we got bigger problems.
That woman's wig should be the least of your problems. And as I said, don't get with a wig wearing woman and then try to demonize and tear her down because she won't, and you get with her. because she won't take her wig off.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Does a divided house, can a divided house stand?
No, it can't stand.
Somebody has to be the leader. So again, I'm not saying dictator. I'm saying leader.
How are you leading her, telling her that she can't wear a wig?
When you were in Islam and a woman said, I don't want to wear the habash. I don't want to do that. I want to just do what I want to do. How come all that was okay?
Well, you're not
just asking.
But most people ain't in the Islam.
No. But I'm asking specifically like that. Why is it okay that a man can dictate in Islam how a woman dresses?
Because also, if you know about Islam, that man is also supposed to be taking care of that woman.
Yeah,
but we ain't talking about that man nowadays. We ain't talking about my daddy. We're talking about a lot of these dudes who want to control that woman, tell her what to do. Also want her out there busting a hustle. And if y'all listening to Farrakhan or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they say you shouldn't have your woman out there working and having an answer to the white man, because you not on that ain't just your woman at that point. She got to answer to another man and not you. And so you thinking that telling a woman that she can't wear a wig makes you the boss or makes you a leader, that's false. And the other thing is, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general, if that woman really is into you and you proving yourself to her, then she might take her wig off of you. But y'all talking about you need to do what I say before I marry you. And then, honey, that's not how that works.
No, I agree. But remember, what did I preface what I said with? I'm talking about the real men. I'm not talking about these dusties out here or whatever they call them that ain't taking care of their business. I'm talking about a man that has his shit together and he says, I want this, and I want this. I want cooperation. That's what I want.
Y'all don't want cooperation, though. Y'all want control. Y'all want, because listen, I don't like okra. And if somebody says, well, you don't, because you won't eat the okra, that means you won't cooperate. Nah, it means I don't want to eat the okra, and you don't get to define me as being uncooperative because it's not something I want to do. And so I think some of y'all in the manosphere, y'all need to get that in y'all head that y'all not dealing with children. And most of y'all won't even talk to your children or treat your children the way you want to treat some women. Women also have a mind of her own, and it can contribute in other ways. But because she needs to look a certain way in order for you to be considered a real man, I think that's kind of off.
Well, like I said, I think you're taking it to another area. But here's my thing. If that's the way women feel, then why be married or why even get a man? Because wouldn't that cause conflict down the road? That's what I'm saying. It's going to cause somebody has to be responsible for what is going on. So in a typical household in the modern age, who is ultimately responsible for everything? I'm just asking your opinion.
In the modern age, they're both responsible. But if you're talking about, we talking about in a traditional or modern sense.
I just asked you modern.
So I don't know. I mean, because I think there's a lot of definitions to modern. Modern means a new way of doing things. And so modern doesn't always mean bad. I know that you guys have attached the word modern to an unruly woman who is uncooperative, but modern could be a new way of doing things. And so a modern household could be, hey, honey, we both work. We gonna split the chores or whatever the case is, because we know in this economy, things gotta be modern. It ain't where it was when my mom and daddy was, together and my mom stayed at home. It ain't that way for whatever reason. And so are you saying modern in a bad sense or modern in a new sense?
However you want to take it. Okay, so, we hear a lot of women talk about, they want the man to be traditional. A man should take care of a woman. A man should do all these things. So is it unreasonable for a man to want a traditional woman?
Then marry a traditional woman. Stop. The problem is y'all want to get these thoughts from the internet, these Instagram models and women that ain't going to do that. And then y'all try to trick her or, use your money into getting her to do these things. It's like, nah, bruh, go after a traditional woman. They exist.
Right. Well, I'm asking you, okay, so I'm in my 50s. Where am I going to find a traditional woman at my age that is going to play her role?
They're everywhere.
Where?
Those women are everywhere. But as I've said, because I'm a traditional woman, but a lot of traditional women.
You don't sound it.
No. See, and that's the thing, though. Y'all men Y'all don't like smart women. And I think y'all would be better off to admit y'all don't like smart women because y'all have got this idea. And listen, my daddy is a good man in every sense of the word. And listen, he didn't marry no dummy when he married my mama. My mama had her nursing degree and she had a full-ride scholarship to Clark Atlanta University. So my mom, was a smart woman, RIP. And you can ask my dad, would he marry a dumb woman? I've spoken to a lot of men who say they don't want no dumb woman.
Yeah, I don't want no dumb woman.
When I hear y'all talk about a traditional woman, I literally envision a glorified blow-up doll of some woman who does not have an opinion. All she does is, hi, honey, you want me to do it this way? You want me? That's what I think that you guys are talking about. But because what you said to me is you don't sound like it, is because I'm not dumb as a box of rocks and I have an opinion. I think y'all really need to understand that.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion, but everything that I've said, you have not even agreed with it at all.
That's not true. I'm challenging your point of view. It's because the way you think is on you, but I'm asking you.
I think as a typical man, right?
Yeah, but I asked you, why does a woman wearing a wig, why is that a threat to you being a real man or not?
It isn't. It's what I want. I want cooperation.
But then get you a woman that ain't gonna wear a wig.
Right, exactly. And that's hard to do when we've had over 40 years of the modern type woman being liberated.
Then go get you a woman that look like Florida Evans then. Because I ain't never seen no woman that look like that.
I love Florida Evans. What you mean?
But why? But Donovan, see, now you lying to Kiki. So you want to put me on the spot?
Fine. I love Florida Evans.
Why I ain't never seen you with one?
What kind of women have you seen me with?
You know what the hell I seen you with.
What kind of women have you seen me with?
You know what I've seen you with.
Yeah, the big blurry girls and stuff.
Nah.
What have you seen you with? What models?
Yes, Beyonce looking with the long, and all of them women hair wasn't real. They had on weaves and all of that.
Yeah, but I wasn't married to them or anything of that nature. I wasn't married to them.
So,
but remember when I started my synopsis, I said, if I was with a woman married and I don't want her to wear weave, should she not wear weave?
Now let's go back to the math that I did.
Right.
You get these women who you ain't trying to marry, they wearing the weaves and this, that, and the other, doing all stuff. And then when they get older, they've been with a couple of men like you. And so when they get older, they're like, I ain't putting up with no more sucker stuff. I'm gonna be by myself. And then y'all perceive those women to be hard and masculine and all that.
Yeah, difficult.
But y'all don't tell the story about, I would date a woman that looked like that, but I ain't trying to, marry her. Y'all don't tell that story.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to date a woman that is like a party girl. You don't want to, some guys do, but I'm just talking about like you want somebody that's going to take care of business. You want somebody that's going to reflect what it is you want in a family circle. And most men, we like to have fun and stuff like that. You got those, you got those things going on. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying you got guys that do that. But most of the guys that I know in my circle of friends that have gotten married, they've gotten married to very family-oriented type women. They just have.
And truth be told, there's a lot of very successful men out there that got a woman with a wig on. Y'all think Beyonce wear her hair all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight as far as what a woman wears on her head. But I think to try to throw the whole woman away because she's wearing a wig or a weave, I just think sometimes. And you like
it's more than that.
Yeah, you like what you like.
Right.
But like me, there's certain men I'm not gonna date, but I'm not gonna try to. And I'll give y'all a perfect example. I'm not trying to be, dirty or nothing. But I have a friend who says, I don't understand why men like oral sex. I don't know. It's nasty to me. I don't understand why he like oral sex. And I said, well, don't get with a man that wants that. I said, there's some men out there who don't want, they don't care.
They just want traditional sex and go about their business, right?
I said, but the problem is you getting with a man who wants that. And then you try to change his mind, once you then trap them into a relationship with you. Oh, no, I ain't going to do that. Ooh, that's nasty. And then he go out and cheat or he leave. But you already knew who you were with. And so I'm saying that to say to men, if you don't want a certain type of woman, don't get with that kind of woman, because the problem is people, and not just men, but women too, we end up getting with people we know is gonna be some problems. But you know what? Damn, he fine. Oh, she
Right.
good. Look at her booty. I'm gonna
Right.
try to change her, but she can't. She is, for the most part, who she is.
Right. Right. Well, like again, like I said, I like throwing that thing out to where you see the lunacy of the issues between black men and black women. Her hair ain't right. Oh, she ain't a 10. Oh, she ain't this. Oh, he ain't making it. He's making, I need a man to make six figures. You know, it's just the lunacy of it. Okay. And I'm glad we kind of showcase that a little bit, the lunacy of what we need to do. I don't give a damn how you do it. At the end of the day, we are going to need each other. I'm doing the countdown right now. Within the next 8 years, you're going to wish you had that girl that had that weave. You're going to wish you had that girl that was obesely overweight or what, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Clinically overweight, whatever you want to call it. You know, she ain't like precious, but she's, got a few pounds and stuff like that. You're going to wish you had that woman that worked at Taco Bell and was at least has a work ethic and so on, so on, and so forth. In 8 years, we will have no say so in this country. And I think it is so important that we come together as a community, regardless of the issues that we have within the community that can be tweaked, that can be worked out. I don't have a problem with the woman. I prefer her not to wear a weave. That's just me. But my issue is this, and we've talked about this way in the past. They did a doll test in regards to, like in the 1950 Brown versus the Board of Education. I'm talking about those women that wear their weave 24/7, 365. That's what I'm talking about. It's okay to have a weave every now and then, because I know you ladies want to switch it up, but there's a problem when you're 50-something years old and you've got purple hair. There's a problem for me. Or you got blue hair. You're not a Smurf. So, all these things like that. That's what we're talking about. Nothing wrong with wearing a weave. But again, if my spouse told me, well, I don't really care for that, I'm going to do everything I can to work that out rather than to fight with that person. Just like if my wife says, oh, Donovan, you're a little bit on the skinny side. I wish you would gain some more weight. Okay, we're going to work together. We need each other at the end of the day, because 8 years from now, they may have the gas ovens already built before we realize they're hot.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with a compromise, but to draw the line in the sand, I'm the man, and so you need to do what I say do. Like I said, I just think that's a control issue. It's not, it's control being mistaken as she's being uncooperative. I mean, I think what y'all need to realize too, and I'm gonna say this for women too, people have the right to say no without, being demonized. People can say no. And then from that point, you decide, well, do I want to be with a woman who's going to wear a wig? But don't be with a woman for 10, 15 years to try to say, well, you know what, you've been wearing wigs all this time, and I just been having a problem with it. No, get that straight from the gate. I don't want to be with a woman with a wig, so I'm going to go be with a Florida Evans, which I know y'all lying. I ain't trying to be with no Florida Evans.
Or get your woman that has the real hair.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell y'all, and I've said this to y'all before, I'm a natural. I've been a natural for a very long time. When I say natural, no perm, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's easier to have a perm. It's harder to have your hair. I got 4C hair, and so it is drier, and you do have to do a lot of manipulation, and it does break off a lot depending on the weather and, all this other stuff. So sometimes it is easier to have your hair up, because I'm going to be bald anyway if I keep trying to snatch it out, picking it, and, all that other stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why women, especially if natural, why they wear wigs and stuff like that. It's to protect their hair and ultimately their health.
Sure, but when you're 8 years old and you're wearing weaves and you're putting weaves in your children's hair, that's a problem.
A different story.
Right, but it all manifests in what I'm saying as the man as the head of the household. He doesn't want that type of stuff going. That's what I'm saying. It's like everybody dislocates the real story.
Can I ask you a question? Like for square biz, square biz. I'm sorry, my age now. Why would you wear a woman that's so dead in her thinking that she would put a wig or a weave on your 8-year-old baby?
Right. But what I'm saying is a lot of guys, let's say it's her first baby. I don't know. And you see that going on and the man says something about it. All of a sudden, there's a stupid ass issue that is tearing the family apart because a woman feels that, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, when the father probably thinks there's something wrong with it. I
get it. But, I'm old enough to say I know why that happens, because y'all was enamored by her body, and she this, that.
That's men. That's men.
Yeah, but that's
Mhm.
so on that. And so then
Yeah.
when y'all get into a marriage with her, and she ain't just become hard-headed, she was already that.
There.
Now,
Mhm.
maybe it's manifesting a little bit more, but I would just hope that if you as a man marry a woman, you would know if she's stupid enough to put a weave in your 8-year-old baby's head.
Yeah,
I would hope
absolutely.
that you would have already known that before you put
Yeah.
your seed in her.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, unfortunately, the people that we're talking about, that the media puts out there as like all Black people, this is the kind of craziness that goes on. Those type people. We're not talking about the people that got their shit together. They're staying with their man. They're getting good. They're out there doing it. We're talking about these people that are kind of waiting on the government. You know what I mean? To do this and do that. These are the decisions that they're making, and this is what they project to the world of how Black people act. And this is the kind of stuff we're saying. And then again, it breaks my heart when I hear young women. Let's say they get in a situation. Let's say the girl goes, "Well, I'm found out I'm pregnant." First question I ask is, "Oh, are you and the father getting married?" "No, I don't want to get married. I'm not ready yet." But you're pregnant. Not saying you have to get married, but what I'm saying is, I know people that have 3 kids, been together for 12 years, and they're still talking about, well, we're not ready yet. That's the lunacy type stuff I'm talking about that goes on in our community.
Yeah, well, we got to, again, I say this all the time. We got to go back to start, to teaching. I have a daughter. She ain't married, and she don't have no kids either. And I taught her that. Don't do it like I did it. Not that, I regret having you, but don't do it like I did. It was hard. It wasn't always hard, but the damn sure wasn't always easy to, go it alone. I mean, her dad was there. It's problematic. I'll tell y'all the story one day. But he was there, but it would have been easier if we would have stayed together. And so I taught her that have children when you are, as they say in the Nation of Islam, settle down with a good choice, and you know that man is gonna be there, and that you don't have to say, "Mama, can you please watch my kids?"
Yeah,
Mama,
yeah.
nah. I want to be the vacation grandee, because that's what my I want to be the vacation grandee. Oh, y'all going on a cruise together and get away for a couple of days? Yeah, I love the kids. Bring them over here, but I'm not gonna be your dude to where you had all these kids or whatever by a man and he ain't there. So now I'm the daddy, the granddaddy,
Well,
grandma, granddaddy.
Yeah. And the funny thing is you hear all these tax breaks, right? That are going to the married couples. I mean, these people made a lot of money for the tax breaks being married. In our community, we have a whole bunch of 70% of Black men and women are not married. Black men and women. Okay. Let me say it like that. And women are not married. All that money sitting on the table. The simple fact you're living like you're married. You got kids like you're married, but guess what? Legally, you're not married. So you can't get that tax break. You can't take advantage of that money that's sitting on the table waiting for you, because we live in a no-fault society now. You don't have to, if you don't want to be married anymore, you don't need to give I got to catch him cheating. I got to get a camera and catch him. You don't got to do all of it. You can just say, I want out. And they will let you out. It might take 8 months. It might take a year, depending, but you can get out of it. But all that money is sitting on the table, and all those tax breaks go to who? The other groups other than ours. I mean, lunacy within our community. And we've got to change that narrative.
Yeah, not only that, just, stop listening to dumbasses, on the internet and anywhere else. Like, I had a conversation with somebody about a year or so ago, and he said, oh, my coworker was like, he'd rather sleep on his sister's couch than to be married. And I'm like, that's who you taking advice from?
Good Lord.
You're taking advice from a Negro that's sleeping on his sister's couch because he won't man up and do whatever he needs to do and try to fix it with his wife or get in a relationship. And I said, furthermore, what make him think his sister want his raggedy behind sprawled out on her living room couch because he won't, go do what men do? Because Farrakhan said, hell, you can't even really consider yourself a man until you get a wife.
Right.
Because she is going to test you to see if you cut out for it. I'm not saying like, be on your bumper, but that's how you know that you are fit to be a man. But yeah, you rather talk about you. But then I said to me what's problematic is he giving this advice from his sister couch. He ain't giving this advice from his own house or nothing like that.
Right, he's got his own right.
Basically, he telling you I'm a quitter, and I'm on the couch, They probably walking by and I was him scratching myself and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. But I'm
Waiting for her to make him something off the couch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you how I'm unsuccessful in relationships, so you can also walk in my footsteps.
Right. Now, I'm glad you said that real quick because I know we got to close out. I'm glad you said that. And I'm going to say this to a lot of these young sisters out there. Stop listening to your bitter aunts and mamas who made mistakes and they ain't got no man. And a lot of you young sisters are waking up. You guys are waking up and not making those same mistakes. And you're not dating the dusty dude and you're not dating the drug dealer because you know that it leads nowhere. Stop listening to these people that have no record of successful relationships. Now, I've been divorced twice. So when people come to me for a marriage advice, I tell them I'm not the person to go to. But I got an uncle and an aunt that have been married for so many years. You might want to talk to them. So I'm, again, it's the same thing that what you just said right there. Stop listening to people who don't want better for you, because and then we see it in our community. You see a lot of these older sisters that are bitter and mad, and they want their daughters and their nieces to be just as bitter and mad.
Yeah, and I'm saying that ain't me.
Right.
I don't want my daughter, and I'm not bitter and mad.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, we as people, especially Black people, we need to go through some sort of a healing process so that we don't continue to drag drama and trauma with us. Right. Heal, that's what I'm done, and healing is an everyday occurrence. I'll be healing to the day I die. But yeah, I don't teach my daughter to be bitter and man hating and all of that, because I want her to be in a successful relationship with a dude. I should say a man that loves her and wants to build something with her. I don't want to see my daughter, laying down with a bunch of dudes, having a bunch of kids and baby daddies, and then because that does make you bitter. Mm-hmm. It makes you bitter because you didn't ask questions. And I would say, only really the advice that I can give anybody, because I've been in a few relationships, not a lot more than a lot of people, but I would say, make sure you don't ignore red flags and ask questions. Make sure you get all the answers you need about a person. And as Maya Angelou said, I know some people hate it, but when the person shows you who they are the first time, believe them. Don't try to wish that stuff away. And I would say also, just from a woman's point of view, because I know that kind of sound like I was just blaming the dude. Yeah, have a healthy self-esteem about yourself. Have, some true knowledge of yourself. So that way you don't settle for any old lackluster, dusty buster that's coming your way saying this, that, and the other. You're not operating out of desperation to be loved or any of that stuff. You're like,
just to have somebody.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, boo-boo. But I need to make sure that you measure up to what you're saying, because you could tell me any old thing.
In the world of that great president, trust but verify.
All day long. Trust but verify. So anyway, Donovan and I could be here all day talking about this. Of course, it always gets not always, it gets heated sometimes, but that's where the meetings of the minds come from. We bounce.
You got to remember, getting heated, it gets us ratings.
Right. I don't know about all of that, but yeah. So of course, we don't always agree, but what we do agree on is that Black people are better together, and we need to spread messages of love and tolerance. I'm not talking about tolerating any old thing, but tolerance in general. And as far as Andrew Tate is concerned, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about him, but I feel like if those all those big giant entities shut him down, he was probably doing a lot. So I'm sure he's not going to go away. Sure, y'all can find him somewhere else if y'all want to do that. So anyway, y'all, we love and appreciate y'all. Of course, we have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. If you want to donate to the channel, become a member. At the very least, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Welcome Wednesdays with Walter. I think we'll have something interesting to talk about as well. So we'll see y'all later. Peace.